Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. Ukrainian army remains the nightmare of the Russian troops. News from the Nikopol region indicates that the tension in the region has increased. Dnipro area could be the center point of the war. Vladimir Putin has to make important decisions regarding the upcoming winter war. Wagner Group is in a much more difficult situation than expected in the war in Ukraine. After the Challenger 2 tanks, the UK could send another game-changer system for the Ukrainian Air Force. Is NATO getting into the Ukraine war? There is important news from Turkey. Iran and Russia cooperation suffer. Ukrainian army continues its strong operations on the front from where it left off. According to the latest news from the front, Russia lost 630 soldiers, 2 tanks, 10 armored combat vehicles, 4 artillery systems, 1 air defense system, and 5 tactical unmanned aerial vehicles in the last 24 hours. Russian President Vladimir Putin was angered by the losses of his army and decided to hold an emergency meeting with his staff in the Kremlin. After the meeting, the Russian army launched missile attacks on the Ukrainian-controlled Dnipro region. According to Valentin Reznichenko, head of the military administration of the Dnipropetrovsk region, Russian missile and artillery units have begun targeting critical infrastructure facilities in the region. According to military sources, the Russian attacks did not cause serious damage, because the Ukrainian air defense systems in the region continue to fulfill their duties successfully. Following these attacks, Russia attempted a total of 14 attacks against Ukrainian targets in the Luhansk and Donetsk oblasts. It is stated that Russia uses BM-21 Grad systems for these attacks. Use of these systems seems to respond to the Ukrainian army's HIMARS systems. But according to local sources, Russian systems are unable to harm Ukrainian targets. In recent weeks, Russia has been trying to preserve its gains in these sectors, while concentrating especially on the Bakhmut and Solder regions. Some commentators say that Russia does not have the power to change the course of the war. Military sources are of the opinion that the Russian army can develop its last partial mobilization and launch a new major offensive to end the war on its own terms. In this context, Russia may want to launch a major attack on Ukraine from Belarusian territory. In this context, the new train convoy sent by Russia to Belarus reached the region. According to Belarusian sources, Russia sent a total of 91 pieces of equipment to Belarus. It is currently unknown what systems or munitions Russia is sending to this region. All military equipment is allegedly located in the western part of Belarus, which greatly increases the likelihood of Belarus launching an attack on Ukrainian territory. In order for Belarus to attack Ukrainian territory, the Russian army must establish a command center in the northern region. Otherwise, Russia will not be able to direct this attack using only its troops in the Donbass region. In connection with this issue, the American Institute for War Studies made statements about the Wagner Group's progress in Bakhmut. According to the institute, the Russian army and the Wagner Group are not able to prevail against the Ukrainian heroes in the Bakhmut region. Also, military sources consistently report that the situation in the Solder region is stable. Intensification of conflicts in the region is causing the recent Russian attacks to do more harm than good, because the Russian army has a serious production and supply problem. Biggest advantage of the Ukrainian army in this regard is the enormous support shown by the Western countries. Ukrainian army is ready for a possible attack through Russia or Belarus, thanks to the support of the West. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also expresses the importance of these aids whenever he gets the opportunity. In this context, it seems that Britain will continue to provide historical assistance to the Ukrainian army. It was recently announced that the UK will send Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. These tanks will provide a serious power multiplier for the Ukrainian army due to their use in modern land warfare. Especially when the failures of the Russian tanks on the front are known, it is very important for the Ukrainian army to get such advanced and modern tanks. Now it seems that the UK is taking action to strengthen the Ukrainian Air Force. Accordingly, The UK is considering sending A-64 Apache helicopters to strengthen the air force of the Ukrainian army. A senior defense source said that sending the helicopters to Ukraine would follow the delivery of the Challenger 2 main battle tanks. In addition, sources claimed that packages similar to these aids will be announced by other NATO allies in the near future. A-64 Apache helicopters can be extremely effective, especially in ground wars. These helicopters, which successfully perform the close air attack mission, will add serious strength to the Ukrainian Air Force. Apache can be armed with up to 16 anti-tank Hellfire missiles, 76 Hydra 70mm rockets, and 30mm chain guns. Another important point here is the training required to operate a helicopter. While this training is expected to take several months, we can expect the helicopters to move to Ukraine after the training is complete. While the alliance of NATO and the Ukrainian army was getting stronger, Russia began to feel uncomfortable with this situation. According to the allegations made by Russian sources, NATO planes have already started to take active duty on the territory of Ukraine. A significant amount of armored vehicles was drawn to the left bank of the Dnieper, where the Ukrainian army was preparing to counterattack in the Zaporizhzhia direction. In the background of the information he conveyed, it was learned that NATO also helped Ukraine. Main reason for the sources is the RQ-4 Global Hawk unmanned aerial vehicles, which are known to fly in the Black Sea. Russia had previously claimed that NATO countries provided serious assistance to the Ukrainian army in intelligence and reconnaissance. However, these claims were never proven. NATO states that it only supplies the Ukrainian army with weapons and ammunition. In this context, Oryx writes that Turkish missile manufacturer Rocketsan plans to complete all studies and tests in the Kara Atmaka project by 2025. Project aims to reproduce the Atmaka anti-ship cruise missile in such a way that it can also hit targets on the ground. Military sources report that negotiations are continuing on the transfer of these systems to the Ukrainian army. These systems can add serious strength to the ground forces of the Ukrainian army. Russia wants Iran to do the enormous support that Western countries provide to Ukraine. In this context, it is claimed that Iran sent a large number of artillery ammunition to the region to be delivered to the Russian army. Videos appearing on social media clearly show that Iranian ammunition has reached the region. But the problem here is that all of these munitions were captured by the Ukrainian army. Ukrainian army seems to want to shoot the Russians with their own weapons, using these munitions in their operations against Russia. In addition, Iran has officially confirmed that it has purchased Su-35 fighter jets from Russia. Shahryar Haidari, member of the National Security and Foreign Policy Commission of the Iranian Parliament, told the Iranian news agency Tasnim that the Su-35 warplanes that Iran ordered from Russia should arrive at the beginning of next Iranian year. This is the first official confirmation that these warplanes were purchased from Russia after unofficial information surfaced. It seems that Iran and Russia built their strategic partnership on mutual interest. Victory to Ukraine. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.